If there's one thing every racing driver knows well, it's spinning. Especially as a novice, you might struggle with spinning into or out of corners. In this video, we're going to go into why you spin and then show you how to stop a spin once you're going into one. The two main places where you might spin are when braking into the corner or when accelerating out of it. Either way, you spin just because you exceed the boundaries of the friction circle. So first, let's take a look at spinning under braking. When braking into the corner, the weight of the car shifts to the front. This means that the grip at the rear is significantly reduced. As a result of this, the driver doesn't have the grip to support the turning forces or the power from the rear wheels when the weight of the car is shifted so far to the front. This means that the rear just loses grip and then spins around. On the other hand, you might spin on a corner's exit. It's mainly a problem with rear wheel drive cars because you're simply asking too much of the rear tyres by turning and accelerating aggressively. Of course, the best way to stop a spin is to not spin in the first place. But jokes aside, we all oversteer occasionally, and you can still save yourself from spinning and ruin the lap completely. Let's look at what you can do to save the car depending on the reason behind the oversteer. The first thing you need to be able to identify is which of the two reasons a car might spin. The first reason a car might be spinning is that the car has a light rear. As we said, braking deep into a corner can lighten the rear of the car, lowering its grip limits a whole lot. So the tip here is to come off the brakes a little bit to get some of that grip back into the rear. You might miss the apex, but it'll be way better than going into a full spin and losing even more time. A pro tip here is to actually apply even a little bit of throttle. This is going to bring the weight back to the rears, allowing you more grip to turn around the corner rather than waiting patiently for the grip to return. However, there's another reason you might spin. You might be oversteering because you're braking traction. In this case, the best thing to do is to ease off the throttle to regain the lost traction. However, it's important to remember to come off the throttle gently rather than suddenly and completely, as this is going to lower your speed drastically. It'll rapidly throw the car's weight to the front and therefore cause you to oversteer more as the rears lose grip. No matter what caused you to oversteer in the first place, you'll also need to countersteer. This means that you steer in the opposite direction. Ideally, the car's front tyres should always point to where you actually want the car. In any case, all of these solutions are going to lose you time. But in that situation, where a spin is going to happen unless you take action, you just have to compromise and get the best out of the situation possible. So to conclude this, spinning is simply caused by exceeding the available grip limits of the car. It makes the rear want to overtake the front. To avoid a spin, you just have to identify why you're spinning. Are you braking too heavily and turning, or are you getting on the power too early? In these cases, you can then identify whether you need to ease off the brakes or come off the throttle and make sure to countersteer quickly in both cases to stay on the straight and narrow.